CSS comments. Okay, CSS comments. So like HTML comments, we have comments in CSS also. So these comments are used to explain our code. Okay, explain our code. Suppose if you don't want to execute, suppose if you don't want to execute some block of CSS comments, see some block of CSS properties, you can put that CSS code in comments. Okay, put that code in comments, or you can put code description in comments, or you can put code description in comments. Okay, so CSS comments start with the slash star. Okay, comment symbol start with slash star and end with star slash. Okay, so between these two symbols we have to define the comments. Okay, we can explain our CSS code. So an example for CSS comments, open your website in Visual Studio, CSS. We create an HTML form, CSS comments. Okay, so suppose take one div tag with some example content. Okay, example content, and use style tag to define the CSS properties. Okay, div tag, background color for div tag, okay, red color, and text color white, and border 2 pixel border, and solid, and border color. Okay, border color. Next, padding 10 pixel, and margin also 10 pixel. Okay, so run this example. Okay, so this is the div element CSS properties. Okay, border is 20 pixel, right? So just 2 pixel border. Okay, so div element with content, background color red color, text color white, and border color and border width. Okay, and border type is solid border. So now I don't want to apply background color. Okay, so now I can put this. Okay, I can put this two lines code in comments. Okay, background color and text color. Okay, so that browser will not execute comments. Okay, only background color and text color is removed. Okay, but in border in browser it will show like this. That development the comments are displaying in green color. Okay, like HTML comments. Okay, browser will not execute these comments. Okay, only border, padding and margin is there. Background color, text color is in comments. Otherwise you can explain your comments, explain your code. Okay, below CSS properties, this for development. Okay, so like this we can explain our code. Okay, in real time merchant should we have to explain our code. Okay, so these are the CSS comments. Okay, this is also nothing but multi-line comments, and you can put single line also in comments like this. Okay, only background color is removed. So this is the CSS comments. Next, CSS font families. Okay, CSS font families. CSS font family property specifies the font for an HTML element. CSS font family property specifies the font for an element. Font for an element. Okay. The font family property can hold several font names. Font family property can hold several font names. Several font names. Okay, so font families are two types. First one is generic font families. Font family. And second one, normal font family. Okay, so these are the two types available. So generic font family means a group of font families with similar look. A group of font families with similar look. And font family means so a specific font family. A specific font family. Okay, so individual font families like Arial, Times New Roman, like this. Okay, use CSS property, font family property to apply font families for the text. So in this example, CSS comments, we can apply CSS font family like font family property, and here is the number of font families. Okay, so all these are font families. Like Times New Roman and similar font families with a similar look like a generic font family. Yes, sans serif. Okay, so like this we can define multiple CSS, multiple font families. Okay, so this is the font family. The Times New Roman, and if you want to this apply another font family, use Arial or Calibri or anything. Okay, so this is Calibri font family, font type, and you can define Arial, Arial font family. Okay, so like this you can change the font type by using font family property. Next,
Sir, how to change each word into different fonts?
each word
I mean, example is one font and content is
you can define
other
this
font.
in span. You can add span for the each word. Okay, and ID sp1 for this one also, ID sp2. sp1 sp2. Okay, same border. Okay, so this is div, border color, padding, margin, and font family sp1. font family with Calibri. Okay, so both are different font families. Okay, and next property is background property. Background property in CSS. So CSS background properties are used to define background effects for the HTML elements. CSS background property are used to specify background effects for HTML elements. Suppose if you want to apply background color, use background so these background property are used to define background effects for HTML elements. Suppose if you want to apply background color for any HTML element, use background color property, and if you want to apply image as a background for any HTML element, use background image property. And the third one, if you don't want to repeat the image, okay, in background, use background. If you want to repeat, or if you don't want to repeat background image, you can use background repeat property. And the fourth one, background attachment. And fifth one, background position. Okay, background position. So all these are background properties: background color, background image, repeat, attachment, and position. So background color is used to apply background color for an element. Okay, so and next, background image is used to apply background image for an HTML element. So an example for background: create one HTML form, background, okay, take one div tag with some content. Okay, so this is the content, and I want to apply background color. Use id selector or class selector, div1 style as div1 background color, and dark red, text color white, hmm, text color white. Next padding 10 pixel and margin 10 pixel. Okay, so now we can run this example. It will show background color for div tag. If you want to apply background image for this div tag, okay, use background image. Okay, background image property, and we have to place our image in your project folder. Okay, so go to pictures folder, copy this image. Okay, paste this image in our project folder. Okay, CSS is our project folder. Okay, so now penguins.jpg is available in our project folder. So now background image, we have to use background image property and URL URL penguins penguins.jpg. Okay, so refresh this example. Okay, background image is displayed here. Okay, div height 400 pixels and width 300 pixels. Okay, and refresh again. Okay, so this is the div width and height and background image. Okay, suppose if you want to apply background image for total entire web page, okay, total body, so just you can put background image for body tag. Okay, body background image, so copy this. Next, okay, just run this example once. Okay, so background image is applied. Okay, but image is repeating here. Okay, so from here image is repeating. So if you don't want to repeat the image, okay, use background repeat property and value no repeat. Okay, so now image is not repeated. Okay, if you want to display image, okay, if you want to fit this image to the entire background, so use size property background size property to fit the total body, okay, without repeating. Okay, so image is fitted to the background. Okay, background size 100% and no repeat and background image. Okay, background color, background image and background repeat. And your assignment for today, these two, okay, background attachment and background position. Okay, so these two are also easy tasks. Okay, background attachment and background position. And next CSS property is border styles. Okay, so do these two assignments. Okay, background attachment and background position. Very easy task. And border styles property. So border style property specifies the border for HTML elements. CSS border style property. Okay, border style property specifies the border for an element. Okay, so we have 9 types of border types. We have 9 types of border styles. Okay, border styles. So first one, none border style. Okay, so there is no border for HTML elements. And second one is solid border. So none border is if you don't want to apply any border, okay, you can use none border style colon none value. Okay, defines no border for elements. And solid border defines a single line border. And third one, dotted border. It defines dotted borders. Okay, dotted border. Next, fourth one, dashed border. So defines dashed borders, dashed lines. Okay, dashed lines border. And fifth one, double line. Okay, double line border. So defines double line borders for element. And sixth one, and these are all normal borders. Okay, from 1 to normal borders, normal border styles. Okay, and from 6th onwards, okay, from 6th onwards, 3D border styles. 3D border styles. 3D border styles is grow border, grow defines a 3D border, defines 3D border for an element. This effect depends on the border color value. Okay, this effect depends on the depends on the border color value. And the seventh one, groove ridge. Okay, ridge. So defines 3D border. 3D border. This effects also depends on the border color. Next, eighth one, inside, inset, and the ninth one, outside. Okay, inside and outside. These two also 3D border styles, and this effects depends on the border color value. Okay, 3D borders are effects depends on the border color. So we'll see this example. Border styles. Uh, take one paragraph. Okay, paragraph, non-border style. Okay, paragraph with this content. ID equal to P1. So use style ID P1, text color red color, and border none. Okay, or use border style property none. So now there is no border for paragraph 1, only text color red color is applied. If you want to apply border color, border style like dotted border or solid border, we create one more paragraph, the P2, solid border, use P2, color same, and border style solid. Okay, so now run this example. Okay, only solid single line border is applied. Okay, so by using border width property, border width property to specify the width for border. Okay, 2 pixel border. Okay, 2 pixel border. So like this we can increase the border width. Okay, so this is 16 pixel border. So here we used border style property, border width property. So if you don't want to write multi-line code, okay, multi-line code, you can use your CSS property, border property, shorten property to specify border style, border width, and border color also in single property. 2 pixel, okay, and solid color, solid border style and border color. Okay, so use single line property, a border property. This is shorten property. If you don't want to write multi-line CSS code, okay, like border style, border width, and border color, so use shorten property. So you can specify these three in single property: a border width, border style, border color. So now refresh this. Okay, for paragraph 2, borders width 2 pixel, solid, and border color. Now you can increase the border like this. And border style solid, completed, and dotted. Okay, paragraph 3, dotted border, use P3, color, F00, border 3 pixel, and dotted border and border color. So now we can refresh this. Okay, so this is dotted border style. So like this we can apply all styles. Okay, 9 types, right? P3 and P4, dotted dashed border, okay, dashed border. Okay, dashed border should be like this, and solid dotted dashed completed, and a double line border, P5 double, okay, double line border, okay, double line, okay, double line border like this, P6, okay, from P6 3D border styles, grow, dashed, grow border, okay, so increase this border width, border width is 8 pixel, okay, so this is 3D border style, okay, you can find this 3D border style, and P6 grow and ridge border, 7 and 8 insert. Okay, insert and outset. 9 9 outset. Okay, so all these are 3D border styles from 6th. Okay, none border style is solid, dotted, dashed, double, groove, ridge, insert and offset. So these are the border styles available in CSS. And next, margin property and padding property in CSS. Margin and padding properties. So these two are very important in CSS. Okay, margin property. CSS margin property are used to generate space around elements. Used to generate space around elements. Okay, so used to generate space around elements. So the margin properties set the size of the white space. Margin property set the size of the white space space outside the border. Okay, and for margin does not have a background color. Does not have background color. And it's completely transparent. Completely transparent. Okay, transparent. Okay, so margin properties are 4 types: margin top, margin right, margin left, margin bottom, margin left. Okay, so this is the order for margin property, and we can use short term property for margin. Okay, we use margin short term property to define margin top, margin right, margin bottom, and margin left. Okay, margin short term property values goes to like first top, okay, 10 pixel, and second right 20 pixel, and bottom 10 pixel, and left side, okay, 40 pixel. So like this we have to define margin shorten property. Okay, so first one, margin top, margin right, margin bottom, margin left. Okay, margin left value, bottom value, right value, top value. Okay, so if you don't want to define multi-lines CSS properties, you can use only single line shorten property, margin. So define all these four properties. And padding is CSS padding property defines the space between the element and the border. Element border and the element content. Okay, element content. CSS padding property defines the space between the element border and the element content. Okay, inside of the element we can generate the space of white space. So here also four padding properties: padding top, padding right, padding bottom, padding left. Okay, so and here shorten property padding. We use shorten property padding like top, right, bottom, left. Okay, like same like margin property. Okay, 10 pixel, 20 pixel, 10 pixel, and 40 pixel. Okay, so this also same order: top, right, bottom, left. So one example for these two, margin and padding. Create one HTML form. Margin, padding. Okay, so take one div tag to this content. Okay, so this is the content in div tag, and use id for div1, style div1. Okay, so div background color dark orange. Okay, and background border, use border. So this is the border color, 3 pixel border, and solid and border color, and height for div tag 200 pixels, and width for div tag 300 pixels. Okay, so now run this example. Okay, so this is the div tag with the content, but I want to add some space between element content. Okay, this is the content, element content and element border. Okay, so use padding property to add the space between element content and element border. Padding first top. Okay, so observe here, top 10 pixel. Okay, and left 20 pixel, and bottom 40 pixel, and left 30 pixel. Okay, 10, 20, 40 and 30. So now space is added, okay, in different pixels. Okay, if you want to apply same space for all sides, use only one one pixel. Okay, 10 pixel, so all sides are same space. If you want to apply different size, different pixels, you can use like this. Okay, so copy this and paste your inversion code. And also I want to space around the element. Okay, around the element means outside of the div tag. So outside of the div tag, use margin property. Okay, margin property. So here also same. Okay, top, right, bottom, left. Top 30 pixel I need, and right 50 pixel, and bottom 60 pixel, and left also 60 pixel. Okay, you can see here. Okay, so first top, you can increase this. Okay, div is moving from top, and for right, so right there is no changing. We actually division left side, so that there is no change. And next, bottom. Okay, bottom also you can increase. Okay, so bottom is increasing here, and from left you can move. Okay, so gap is added. Okay, so like this you can change the element position. Okay, by using margin property. So this is the margin property. So copy this, and if you want to display side by side div elements, okay, so div is this position, and also I want to display another div beside of this starting div. Okay, copy this one and paste here. Okay, div 2. So now run this example. Okay, so there is no CSS styles because no we have to write CSS properties. Copy this one and paste here, div 2. Okay, because id is div 2. Okay, so div is displaying in bottom of the first div, but we want to display second div in beside of first div. Okay, side by side. So for this, use float left. Okay, float property and left. So for first one also same, float left. Okay, now image in div tag is displaying in side by side. But if you want to decrease the image, decrease the margin, okay, margin between these two, okay, between these two, apply margin same margin like 20 pixel for all sides. Okay, here also same 20 pixel. Okay, so like this we can display number of div elements side by side. Okay, div t, div 3. Okay, same width. Okay, 20 pixel 20 pixel for all sides. So this is very important concept, margin and padding in CSS.